Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit, Brexit Britain, a country where if you're in dire straits this winter, in a situation where you're given the choice of heating or eating, one of our energy companies has come up with a fantastic scheme just for you. You should cuddle a lion, a hungry one. Make sure it hasn't eaten for at least 5 days. You won't be cold for very long. And also, welcome back to my Enemies Necessary. Thank you so much for all the messages you sent me, and a special thanks here to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all the messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. So I've just got to say a quick RIP here to Gary Waldhorn, right? He who played in The Vicar of Dibley, because he played the councillor, I can't remember what the councillor's name was in The Vicar of Dibley, but he's passed away like 70 something years. I don't know. He's 70 something years old, so he's not that old at all. Do you know what I mean? So I have to say, like, he was absolutely fantastic actor, just really brilliant actor. Do you know what I mean? And I think there was only like 20 episodes of The Vicar of Dibley. You know, that's like, you know, so it's gonna get that cult like status, like, or I suppose it's already got it actually, like you know, Faulty Towers, which there was only, I think, 8 of them or something like that, but I think they've done 20 Vicar of Dibley. Do you know what I mean? But he played in, I think he played the council in every single one of them. So R.I.P. young Gary. So I don't know if you saw yesterday, Savage Javid, or as we like to call him, Zippy, right, was out in a hospital yesterday, and he got challenged by one of the doctors, yeah, like an ICU doctor, right, who's been working in like the COVID wards for from since like the beginning of the pandemic. And so that, and it's all about this. It's all about the flipping vaccines, isn't it? Right? Because the NHS, yeah, in April, I think they're going to be like, you know, if you're not vaccinated, which is 1 in 10 of NHS staff, so if you're not vaccinated, right, then you know something. You're going to be doing. Can we say, like, you're going to be doing a Majid Nawaz, right? You're going to be getting your ass out of there, right? He basically challenged him and said, "Listen, I'm not vaccinated. I haven't been vaccinated from the beginning, right? I've got antibodies, and then and that clip has actually gone viral. You know what I mean? So his name is Dr. Steve James." Right, so that, as I said, that clip's gone viral. So you should watch that clip and see. Do you know what I mean? But I've just seen him on GMB, right? And Hillary Jones has just like proper laid into him. Right, Dr. Hillary Jones is just, you know. But the thing with Hillary, yeah, Hillary's got this way of like insulting you, right? But you think to yourself, I still like you though. You just insulted my ass, but you know what? You're all right. So yeah, so Hillary's got this way of putting things. You know what I mean? And like, he's just like, you know, the doctor. You know, but both of them, right? You listen to both of them, right? And both of them have got like, they've both got a decent argument. Do you know what I mean? Both of them have, because whether or not we know, if someone is vaccinated, right? They can still pass COVID on as well. If they're unvaccinated, right, you know, can they pass COVID? They can pass COVID on, right? So I don't know, you know, the whole situation, to me, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I haven't really, you know, that's one thing I haven't really, you know, the whole situation, I haven't really like got into it that much. Do you know what I mean? And I don't really get into it with people because, you know, either you are a person who's for vaccines, or you're not. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, because someone hasn't taken the vaccine doesn't mean that they're an anti-vaxxer because they haven't taken the vaccine. Do you know what I mean? Because you're gonna have millions of people out there who think to themselves, well, listen, it's just a little bit too early for me, right? So I'm just gonna wait for like maybe a couple of years into it, right? And you know, if we still need, you know, and if we, I'm just speaking hypothetically, and if you still need the vaccine in 2023, then you know I'll be prepared to take it around then, because you know the world will know what the effects are. Do you know what I mean? Because this vaccine's been out from the end of 2020, right? So we're just going into its full second year now, right? So there are people out there, right, who I can guarantee you, if they're not anti-vaxxers, they're just like, you know what, I just want to wait and see, right? Or, you know, I don't know, you know, or they, you know, or they could take it. There could be a person who takes the vaccine, but maybe not just yet. You know, so there's a whole lot of reasons as to why someone might not have taken the vaccine yet. But then obviously you've got your out and out anti-vaxxers. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, because we all can't be like complete anti-vaxxers, because you know already, right, that, you know, your measles, mumps, rubella, right, all of those things need to be vaccinated for, right? There's no if or buts with them. Do you know what I mean? You know, you're not going to get, right, because you're not going to get, you know, with things like measles and mumps, yeah, and rubella, right, you're not going to get a pandemic. All that's going to happen, right, is your child will die. That's all that will happen. You're not going to get a pandemic of children because you know, you're looking at most children get vaccinated from that. So if your child catches something like that, then your child will be the one that dies from it, and that will be the stat on diseases like that. Do you know what I mean? So those type of diseases, we know that we have to be vaccinated for. Do you know what I mean? And obviously then we know we've got like you've got the flu jab, right, for much older people, right? You know, people get into the late 70s and 80s and that. Do you know what I mean? It's understandable that they're going to take the flu jab, but then, you know, there's so much people. Yeah, if you want to take your ass into, like, you know, into the Caribbean or into the Middle East or anywhere like that, right, then your ass has to get vaccinated. Right? You know, there's one like yellow fever and all them things there. Do you know what I mean? That you guys have to be vaccinated for, right? Because remember, when you go to different countries as Brits, right, you don't want to be bitten by them mosquitoes without being vaccinated. Right? That's just the facts, right? So all of us, right, who have been sun seekers, or, well, not so much winter, but sun seekers, but all of us, right, if we've been abroad, right, your ass has been straight to the doctor and been jabbed. Or most of the time in them countries, they won't let you in anyway. A lot of them countries, they won't let you in anyway. Right? So a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people that are who are out and out anti-vaxxers, right? But obviously they've had those vaccines, and if they was to go abroad, they'd have to take those vaccines. You know what I mean? So I don't think everyone, you know, I think there's very, very few people who are out and out anti-vaxxers. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's, I think it's, it seems to be mainly this one, you know, that it seems to be mainly this vaccine that people have a real issue with. But I think that I think that's a lot of that is just to do with the time it's been out. So today we have to speak about smart motorways, or as I like to call them, maybe not so smart motorways, because I think here that only in Brexit Britain, right, some fool, right, could have come up with something so stupid. I mean, the level of stupidity, right? Could you imagine being in that meeting and coming up with the idea for smart motorways? Could you imagine? Because I can guarantee you this, right? Whoever came up with that idea, right, has never ever stood on a hard shoulder. Because just standing on the hard shoulder alone, right, you find out how scary motorways actually are. Just standing on the hard shoulder, right? You know, cars hurtling by, right, at 70 miles an hour, right, is no joke, right? You know, these things are moving, right? And you know, lorries, obviously our lorries here in this country are limited to 56 miles an hour, right? And those motherfuckers still can't stop in time. And they got 56, that's what they're limited to. Right, and let me tell you, right, if you get caught out on a smart motorway, because we've had Grant Shapps, yeah, or Jeremy from the Peep Show, as I like to call him, right, Shapps, right, was on just lying about it yesterday. In fact, right, Shapps was supposed to be out this morning, right, speaking about these smart motorways, because he's got a massive announcement to make. right? That that they're pausing the project of smart motorways, right? But they've waited until there's been over 70 deaths on smart motorways. There's over 70 people have been killed on smart motorways, or we could just say murdered by a ridiculously stupid government for introducing smart. Well, you just think to yourself, seriously, you're gonna make people break down on a motorway, right, and have nowhere to stop. I mean, you just think to yourself, really, honestly. And then you understand how something like Grenfell Tower could have happened. You understand how that could have happened? Because I'm sure one of the councillors that was in charge of Grenfell Tower, hadn't actually ever been in either in Grenfell Tower, or it was in a high-rise block. It's one or the two. She had never been in Grenfell Tower, or she'd never actually been in a high-rise block. It's one or the two. But this is the level of incompetence that is shown right across governments and councils all across this country. That's what it is. That's the level of incompetence that's shown, right? That that someone sat there one day and thought to themselves, I know, it's a good idea. Why don't we, take the hard shoulder, right, out of motorways, give them more capacity. You know something, right? I'd sooner have less capacity, right? And so that I don't run into someone who has broken down on a smart motorway because 1 in 10 of your cameras are not functioning. Yeah, that's right. 1 in 10 of the cameras, right? Because this is the reason why the motorways, it's called a smart motorway, because what's supposed to happen, right, is at the minute someone breaks down, right, the crosses, the red crosses are supposed to come across the motorway. Right, and it's supposed to shut that. It's supposed to immediately close that lane off, right? So everyone starts moving over, right? And obviously on the roadside, it'll tell you a vehicle has broken down. That's how it should work. But obviously there needs to be someone manning them cameras 24 hours a day, right? And in a country, right, where governments, right, don't like to employ people. Because that's how it is, right? One of these days, right, we're all going to wake up, and the only people employed by the government are going to be MPs. They're going to be the only people employed by the government one of these days when we wake up, right? So the idea of the smart motorway, right, is it kicks in the minute someone breaks down, right? Everyone's supposed to move over, right? But obviously, right, on more than 70 occasions, that hasn't happened, right? And a lorry has ploughed into, and a lot of times, the lorry's actually ploughed into people, not actually the vehicle. Well, it's taken the vehicles out as well, but the people are outside the vehicles, right? And one story I heard was this guy, he had broken down, right, and there was like something like a 30 or 40 foot drop, right, where the smart motorway was. And he was standing there speaking to somebody else. I don't know if these guys had an accident, or someone maybe has stopped to help him, right? But within a few seconds of them having a conversation, right, 2 of them was just wiped out by a lorry, right, who hit them. Yeah, and obviously it must have hit their vehicle, wherever their vehicles was, must have hit their. So it's not even like there's a barrier for them to have got over. Right, so they're not standing on the actual live lane itself, because that's what smart motorways are. They're actually live lanes. They're live lanes of traffic. And whoever come up with that concept, you've got to say, you know what, you've got to be a Brexiter. Nobody else, right? Nobody else could have that level of stupidity. It would have to be a Brexiter who come up with the idea of smart motorways. 500 teachers, right, have decided to return to work to help out, right, in light of the pandemic. Well, obviously the teaching unions are going like, it's not enough. We need more. That's what the teaching unions are saying. Do you know what I mean? But 500 have gone back. 500 gluttons for punishment have gone back. We could say, right, and we're going to have right, soldiers, right, helping the paramedics, in the next, well, over the next few weeks, helping the paramedics, because obviously we've got so many of them off with COVID and all them things there. Do you know what I mean? And we've just come through the Christmas and New Year's period, right? And, a lot of these things, so much things in this country has not really been reported on nowadays. Do you know what I mean? They're not really showing you this. They're not showing us the state of the hospitals and all those things there. Do you know what I mean? Especially not in the media. Do you know what I mean? Every once in a while, you just get like a quick flash here and there, right, of stuff that's going on in hospitals and places like that. Do you know what I mean? Because when they're still about, well, those insulate Britain people, right, stopping people from getting to hospitals and all that. I think, well, does it really matter? Because up in the northeast, right, you got hospitals. You've got the NHS telling people, well, if you can get to us under your own steam, if you're having a heart attack or a stroke, possibly to get a friend to drive you or grab an Uber. This is the advice from NHS in parts of this country. That's the advice. So, but I'm quite sure, right, that you working class and you benefit Tories knew exactly what you was voting for. That I'm sure of. Yeah, right. So yesterday, was Edward Argar was out doing the rounds, right, making a complete fool of himself, right, and he just got. And yesterday morning, he was just getting smacked. He was just getting smacked up. All on whatever media he went on, it wasn't going too well for him. Whatever media he went on, do you know what I mean? And this is the thing. You see, Boris Johnson will just stain everybody around him, right? Now you think to yourself, well, most people couldn't tell you who the hell Edward Argar is anyway. So that shows you, that Boris Johnson, right, he's down to like he's down to the barrel. He's scraping at the bottom of the barrel now, right, to get people out there, to go out and speak for him, right, to go out and lie for him, because that's what these guys do. They just go out and just tell. They just go out and just start. And the thing is, right, everybody knows they're making a fool of themselves. They know they're making a fool of themselves, right. And you think to yourself, well, you do know from what you're doing now and saying now, right? It's there forever, because it's been recorded. It's going to be all over. It's going to be all over the internet. So all of these things that you're saying now, they're there forever, right? So when you're just there blatantly lying for Boris Johnson, right? People are going to be pulling this out on you in a few years' time. That's what they're going to be doing. And you think to yourself, have these guys seriously got no advisors? Because from if you look around Boris Johnson, he's got some very famous faces around him, right? And none of them now are prepared to come out, right, and fight his corner, because every morning a minister normally has to do the rounds, especially this morning, right? But none of them could come out this morning, because they know that all they're going to be asked about is the party. That's all they're going to be asked about, right? And you see, unfortunately for Johnson, he's played this really stupid, because he's given himself like he's given himself 3 outs, right? We'll speak about that in a minute. Right. So yesterday we've had Edward Agar, right, and then we've had the Paymaster General. I'll try to tell you who he is, because most people wouldn't know who the hell Michael Ellis is, because that's who was in the House of Parliament yesterday, right? Because there was an urgent question by Labour about more fucking parties again, right? You think to yourself, seriously, these guys really do have a lot of parties. I don't know what the hell is going on up in there, right? But these guys, seriously, right? It is better we just find out what days there wasn't parties up in there, because there seems to be a party every day or every other day, right? That's how they must work. They must say, and last night, I've heard that they've all of them, right, have been told, right, to delete all the shit off of their phones. Wow. Really? And you think, well, they've been told that, right? Now, I only know that because I heard it last night. And I think, well, so then we all know that as well now. So they're going to go ahead and do it? Because, if what happens today, what I think is going to happen. I'm not sure, but what I think is going to happen, right? Because as I was saying about Boris Johnson's outs, right? Boris Johnson he's probably got three things he can do, right? And obviously he always wanted to be the mayor of Jaws, right? So he could get a bigger fridge. I hope you got the reference, right? But yeah, right. Or, which I think is the most likely, because with these guys, the level of corruption, right, is very high, and Boris Johnson cannot go into Parliament today, right, and say, well, Suzanne Gray, right, is doing an inquiry. Right. That's just not gonna that's not gonna work for him. If he's in Parliament, I mean, he's got the option of testing positive for COVID as well. I forgot about that option, but he's got that option of testing positive for COVID, right? But he can't go into as a Parliament today because today's Prime Minister's questions, and there's no way that he can go in there today and say, well, Suzanne Gray is in the middle of her investigations, right? So the option that I think he's going to take, right, is for there to be a police investigation into it, because that halts everything else. There's a police investigation. Susan Gray's investigation. Susan Gray's investigation stops, right? The politicians can't really. I mean, there's a police investigation, so you can't really ask questions about a police. You can't really ask questions, especially out in the public. I mean, that's, because there's a lot of things they can get away with in the House of Parliament. So that might but I just so in the House of Parliament they actually might be able to just continue to ask him that question even with the police investigation going on, right? But he can sort of use that defence to say, well, there's a police investigation in it, and then we're going to have Susan Gray's investigation. So I can't really answer because I don't know if I was at the party. You're going to have to ask Susan Gray. How would Boris Johnson possibly know if he was at a party? I mean, whoever knows when they're at a party, right? And something, yeah. Remember with all the cocaine, right, that's been found up in the House of Parliament, and I'm sure that there's been some ketamine as well, because a lot of because a lot of those things, yeah, the two go together in a lot of times. You know what I mean? So because we've found that all up in there, yeah. So we know that people have been doing them things. They're probably in Downing Street. Do you know what I mean? Probably got a policeman to hold a plate, right? So yeah. And then obviously he's got the option of just saying, I'm sorry, I throw myself on the mercy of the people of the country. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it, but it just happened. The dog was sick, but I had to pick up the wife. So this is the thing. So he's got those three options. Yeah, he can get himself a bigger fridge, right? Or he can just simply apologise, right, and throw himself at the mercy of the British public, right? Or he can start a police investigation, and already, yeah, that's Cressella Dick right there, right? So and she is just as corrupt as them, right? And she works for Priti Patel. I remember Boris a few years ago. We've got to form a circle around the Pritster. So, all the level of corruptions will kick in for him if he decides to go down the because obviously the police wouldn't find anything anyway. It's not like the police are going to find out anything anyway. Anyway, so let's speak about some Brexit, because I saw an interview with Julia Hartley-Brewer and Lord Moylan. I think, and you just listen to these people, right? And these people are just so stupid. This is the thing with them. I mean, there's not really much other words that you can use with these people. They're just so thick, right? The level of stupidity, right, from these people, right? Sometimes I think to myself, do these people realise that Brexit's going really badly? Because I'm not sure they realise, but you see, working in the media, they've got to know exactly what I know working in the media. So they've got to know, right? You know, I know how badly it's going. Right? I know that our ports are completely blocked up. Right? In the same way, right? That our hospital beds are completely blocked up, and and the ambulances are waiting outside. But let's argue about extinction, about insulate Britain stopping ambulances getting to hospitals, because when they get there, it's not like they can. It's not like they can take the people straight into the wards anyway. Right, but we're always focusing on the wrong thing, right? But Julia Hartley Brewer and Lord Moylan, you know what I mean, like, and Lord Moylan just described, all the new red tape for businesses. He just described it as teething problems. Nothing. It's just teething problems. Sort itself out. Right, I can tell you, right, these things are never going to sort themselves out. Right, Britain, right, the reason why, because as much as I would like to see Boris Johnson, get the fuck out of 10 Downing Street, right? But I just think that's just so unfair, right? Because the damage what Boris Johnson has done and the poison chalice that he's passing on to somebody else, right? We're probably going to, we're probably, as the next leader, we're probably going to get another mad Brexiter, right? That's probably what's going to happen. Because they're using completely ridiculous words. They're saying that the EU are laughing at us. No, I'm laughing at you. Right? The EU are very serious people. They don't laugh. Right? They take shit really serious. Right? The only people who don't take shit serious is the British, right? By putting an absolute clown in charge of this country. Right? That's the people who don't take that's the people who's having a laugh. The EU's not laughing about anything because they take things really, really serious. That's why when David Davis turns up to a meeting, right, with not even a fucking pencil, right, and the EU have got they've probably got 3 miles of paperwork sat there on the table, right, and David Davis turns up with nothing, right, that, right, is people who are not taking shit serious. The EU take things very, very, very serious, and they're not laughing at us. They're not punishing us, because I would be punishing you, and then you would know about what punishment really was. They're not punishing us, right? They've just got their rules. Their rules, right, are for third countries. That's it, right? We have no power over there, right? The minute these people get that through their thick skulls, right, then this country might start getting somewhere. But you've got people in the media, this GB News, and obviously she's on Talk Radio, whatever it is, right? These people, right, are pathetic idiots, right? And they're still trying to push the lines as if to say, that Britain has any strength within the EU, as if to say we're a member, right, with some type of veto, and the only people who can be vetoed is us. They can veto us with anything, anytime they're ready. Right. And when they do, the only people who are going to suffer, right, are the stupid ass people in this country, right, and especially you fools, right, who voted for this rubbish. Right. But you know something? I'm having a really good time because I'm really enjoying this, and I think it serves you motherfucking racist fools right. So they're using words like, the longer it goes on, the happier they will be. Right? Using words like, they've got us exactly where they want us. Just completely ridiculous. That's what these people are. They're psychos. They've got something wrong within their heads. Right? It's like, when they was born, like, something switched off. It's like they were starved of energy, right? Of air. Right? And their brain must have been starved of air for 15 minutes, right, when they was born. Right, that's what must have happened to all of to all of these people, to all of these, especially right these Brexiters who are in the media and the ones who know better, because these people know better. They know exactly what's going on. They know that our businesses are being crucified on a daily basis. Remember, right? A lot of these guys in the media, they don't care, right? But you see, I tell you this, right? The fishermen, right? I always look at the fishermen. I think to myself, you know something? Do you know why Jacob Rees-Mogg is a billionaire, right? And you are a dirty, smelly, racist fisherman. Do you know why that is? Because when you saw Jacob Rees-Mogg, right, moving his businesses over to Ireland, but telling you things was going to be better for you here, didn't something kick into you? I was thinking about this one the other day. Didn't something just kick into you to say to you, well, actually, why are you, Mr. Mogg, why are you moving your business over to Ireland? You know, if things are going to be so much better here, when we break free from the evil empire of the European Union. And that's why, yeah, that so many of you fishermen, yeah, the business has gone out of business. Because, you know, here's the thing. Let me just tell you one thing now. All right? You can catch as much fish as you want. If you haven't got a market to sell them, what the fuck you going to do with them? Get yourself a big ass fish tank in your house. Right? That's the only thing you could do with them. Foolish. You know, I'm just looking at the time and like, I'm already 31 minutes in, right? And I just need to, quick thing, right? Patriotic Liz Truss, right, may force Boris Johnson's hand and make him trigger Article 16. So say the Daily Express. And I'm going to leave that story right there because it's just a load of fucking nonsense. Right? They can't trigger Article 16, even if Britain depended on it. They couldn't trigger Article 16. Right? It's just complete and utter garbage. Do you know what I mean? But the Express will they're still trying to push this Brexit, this hardline Brexit nonsense, and it's just absolute garbage. Right? But I'm going to end again on a high note. Right? Something good that is coming out of Brexit. The French, right, are pushing for an EU-wide treaty on migration to the UK. Right. So the French, obviously, they're pushing now to say, well, listen, you know what, we need to really help out with these crossings, because obviously we don't really want people crossing over like that. So we want to have some EU-wide treaty. But unfortunately, a lot of the other EU countries are saying, like, we don't want to have no treaty with Britain. See? Sovereignty, eh? Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.